The legal drama between crypto giant Ripple, which of course is behind XRP, and the Securities and Exchange Commission is nowhere close to an end. And now it looks like Bitcoin and Ethereum may be caught in the fray. What is this about, Charlie?
One of the more bizarre stories is that I've been covering for a while, particularly in crypto. Everybody's always assumed that Bitcoin, created by the mysterious Satoshi Nakamoto, right? That Ethereum, created by Joe Lublin, whatever, you got his name right, Joe Lublin and company, they created the Ethereum blockchain with the Ether crypto coin. The blockchain of Mr. Nakamoto is Bitcoin, as you know. Everybody's always assumed they're legal, right? Compliant securities, they're decentralized. The SEC does not, they don't have to register with the SEC. The SEC has said as much in a speech in 2018 by Bill Henman, then the head of corporation finance, and in other literature that the SEC has put out. It essentially deemed those two compliant securities. Well, not so fast. I'm reading the literature, not the literature, the court testimony in the Ripple versus SEC case. Ripple has been dinged for selling non-compliant, non-registered securities, mainly its XRP crypto coin. In reading this thing, Ripple's trying to argue that, hey, we're not that much different than Bitcoin. We're not that much different than Ethereum. And what the SEC is saying is, we don't care whether you're that much different than those two. We, at the SEC, have not declared those two compliant securities as of now. Mr. Hinman's speech was his personal opinion. As of now, neither of those things are one way or the other. We have no opinion on whether they are compliant securities. That is a huge story, Liz, in the crypto world, because it essentially opens the door to an enforcement action. If you take the SEC at its word, and that's one of the lawyers who's arguing the Ripple case, if you take him at his word, the SEC theoretically could file charges against Ethereum for issuing non-compliant securities that they issued in the past, even though if it's decentralized now, it wasn't always decentralized. Same thing with Bitcoin. When Satoshi Nakamoto created Bitcoin, right, at some point, it wasn't decentralized. It was just him, right? And guess what? He was, and as you know, I think the story with him, he hasn't sold any of his Bitcoin, but maybe some of the initial people that worked on it did. Then does that become a non-compliant, compliant worked on the Bitcoin blockchain? This is where this is getting so bizarre, and it does. Listen, I don't know if they're going to go back and look for Mr. Nakamoto, whatever his name is, all right? Whether he or she exists, because we don't know who it is right now, right?
It might be a bunch of people,
It might be a bunch of people. So I don't think they go that far back. But clearly, Ethereum could be in the crosshairs, Liz. Gary Gensler, when he was an MIT professor, believed that he said it point blank. He didn't think Ethereum. He believed Ethereum. There was a case to be made that Ethereum was not compliant. He has said that on the record. He does not comment on that now. We've asked him to comment on that and this whole subject. The SEC declined comment on the story, Liz. But clearly, this is a story that's that's definitely being talked about inside the crypto industry as this court testimony gets passed around. By the way, this court testimony occurred a couple of months ago, but it is now, you see it on social media, and that's kind of how I got my hands on it. And the SEC lawyer says it point blank. SEC has made no official ruling on the compliance of Ethereum's Ether or the Bitcoin cryptocurrency, Liz. Back to you.
All I will say is we had the BitFury CEO the other day. He also testified before that House panel. Yeah. And he said, I asked him, is XRP a security or is it a currency? And he said, looks like a currency to me.
It's one of the reasons why this came up, whether Ethereum and Bitcoin is actually that there's an SEC ruling on it, is because XRP's lawyers, or excuse me, Ripple's lawyers, are saying the case against us does not hold water. We sold XRP, yes, but we want to know. But it's not that much different than what happened in Ethereum. So we want to see in our discovery, we want to see the SEC's rulings, what you've said on Ethereum, how you declared it back in 2018 a compliant security, and Bitcoin. SEC comes back and says, well, we haven't really declared it. That was Mr. Hinman, Bill Hinman's personal opinion. Very bizarre stuff.
Okay. Charlie, thank you. Charlie Gasparino.